So I'm wondering if anyone has advice for for an aspiring permaculture consultant looking at Jeff Lawton's online course to start. And I found a job at an organic citrus orchard farm here in Ojai. Is that how you say it? Ojai, California? Ojai, is that how they say it? I don't know.
I know the place you're talking about too.
Yeah,
I think so.
To gain some experience. In the future, I'd like to buy some land with close friends or investors to establish a permaculture institute /farm/homestead. And if you guys had any advice for how to navigate those waters in these times, that would be helpful. Funding, land share, marketing, etc. Much gratitude for all your content and knowledge. I look forward to it every week. Thank you. What do you think, Rob?
Good, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, the Lawton's course is awesome. I haven't taken his online course, but I mean, I cut my wings or my teeth. No, I didn't cut my wings. He gave me wings by cutting my teeth at his property. And Jeff's awesome. He's an ethical guy and like one of the best. He's been around for a long time, and so I think and I think that the permaculture design course, I think the thing I'll say about it is that it's a great place to start. It's a horrible place to end. It really just is an introduction into seeing the world through a new set of lenses. But once you're done, if you think that that's your end point, you're going to fall flat on your face. And I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just that we end up getting a lot of people from lots of different walks of life who start looking at the world through a new set of lenses. And you can't just switch your paradigm and all of a sudden be a master of all trades. You have to look at everything that gets presented to you in this program and then decide on how you're going to put that information to productive use. And so what I say to my students is the first thing I tell them when someone takes a PDC through us is they're not allowed to quit their job until a long time after they've taken the course. That can happen. People get so excited that they end up making a bad decision. The second thing is that you don't do permaculture, you use it within what you do. And so that's a really important distinction. And so if you're an engineer, you can bring some of these ideas back into the way that you do engineering. If you're an architect, same thing. If you're any walk of life, like Dakota is a 4th generation farmer, and I'll let him speak to how he's kind of incorporated these ideas into what he does. And so I would start with a PDC for sure. Lawton's a great place to start, and just let it be your last thing.
Yeah. So to build off of that, I've taken Jeff's online PDC. It was this was years ago, so it'd be a different one now. It's awesome. The thing that I tell everybody is don't just take one PDC, because there's so much information to, like, permaculture is like the science of everything. And it's agriculture, it's gardening, it's building systems, it's social systems, it's energy, it's everything. And so, like, you're not going to learn it all in one course. So if you find yourself resonating with one particular teacher, that's awesome. So yeah, I've taken 3 I've taken Jeff Lawton's course, I've taken Rob's course, I took another course that was live in BC, and I've watched, there's several kind of free recorded ones online, plus I've purchased some pre-recorded ones myself, so it's like 6 PDCs, and the recorded ones I've watched several times, and I've learned, every time I watch them I learned something new. Oh, there's also a recorded, like an audio one, that it was like Bill's original PDC from back in like 1983 or something like that. And I've listened to that one several times. They're fantastic. It's been the best money I've ever spent and the best time I've ever invested into that kind of stuff. So if you live in like a cold climate, this is a plug for Rob and Michelle at Verge Permaculture. In my opinion, they have the best cold climate permaculture course in the world, and potentially the best permaculture course in the world now. Even better than Jeff's because of the style that they're doing, where it's all live, and even though it's online, it's not just pre-recorded. you have live courses, and you get to watch the recordings forevermore. So anyways, that's the first thing. And then the second piece is just to stress what Rob said is you don't do permaculture, you use permaculture in what you do. And so the biggest mistake that I see people making is they take a PDC, they get super excited about it, they quit their job, whatever they're good at, and they start gardening and trying to make a living farming. And there's a book called Mastery, which the primary thesis of that book is that it takes 10,000 hours minimum to become a master at something. And so the farming, if you've never farmed before but you've watched loads of YouTube videos and you think you can just quit your job and become a farmer, that's the same thing as watching like all of like the Grey's Anatomy and, you know, the ER TV shows and things like that. And, you know, watching them several times and thinking that you could just quit your job and become an ER doctor. Like it's probably harder to become a farmer because not only do you have to know how to grow, you know, plants and animals, you got to learn how to fix equipment and become an accountant and like all these other things. It's really difficult. So what I'm not trying to discourage you from doing that. What I'm saying is, what have you spent the first part of your life doing up until now? Like if it's been in the orcharding world, absolutely go for that. But and I'm not saying don't go into the orcharding world, but maybe you work in IT. You know, maybe you are a what was Tyler working in, Rob? What was his? He was a
earth mover.
No, the guy who took the course. He worked for the oil and gas stuff. He was like
he was a project manager.
Yeah, he was a project manager. But like you could be working in HR, like human resources. Maybe you've got skills, you know, early childhood development, whatever it is. If you're already a master in one field, take these permaculture design courses and then think, how could you use your existing mastery within the realm of permaculture to make a living right now, and then branch out to get some other complementary skills. But it's not like 10,000 hours is like 10 years or you know 5 years if you're working full time. It's a long time. So that's my only thing I wanted to add to that.
You know, and one thing I would add to that, to kind of wrap it all up with a bow on top, is just thinking about time and money. What do you have more of? When I got into farming, you know, I did do kind of what Dakota said, is, you know, watching a bunch of episodes of Grey's Anatomy and thinking you can become a doctor. That's what I did with farming. My first couple of years were an absolute blunder, right? I screwed everything up and I hurt my back because I overworked myself. But I had more time than I had money at that time. And so that's one thing to think about, because if you're the older you get, generally speaking, the more resources you have, but the less time you have. Whereas the younger you are, the less resources you have, but the more time you have. And so that always kind of puts things into a greater context as well.